Hello and welcome to the Main Cave. On today's video I'm going to be unboxing, setting up and talking you through the new Sonos Ray, which is the entry-level soundbar, and asking you, is this the best soundbar on the market for the price? So as I said, this is the Main Cave, and if you do enjoy my content then please do think about subscribing and dropping a like, it would be really appreciated. So why the Sonos Ray? Well, for raw power, Sonos have their flagship Arc, but that is nearly 4 times the price. Or maybe for value, companies such as Denon, Sony and Yamaha, they offer up their own cheap subs. Yet I instantly pre-ordered this Sonos Ray with the promise on their website of their signature sound for just £280 or $280. Is this the bargain of the century, or do a couple of the technical omissions make it a non-starter for you? So the Sonos Ray is the latest soundbar from Sonos, and it's a company that make high-end speakers. And by high-end I mean expensive, but for a good reason. They are very, very good quality. So I have a Sonos Play 1 and a Sonos Play 3, both paired in my kitchen, and I also have the IKEA Symfonisk in the bedroom. All are superb quality, having lasted me years of daily use. I picked up this Ray from a company in the UK called Argos, and it arrived on the day of release, whereby I got about testing it. You can currently get this for £279 or $279, which is a lot cheaper than their next level soundbar, the Beam, at £450 or around $450. So really the price is the first reason why I'd recommend this. It's not too expensive to break the bank, and you get yourself a Sonos device which comes with what they call their blockbuster sound, plus all the bells and all the whistles of the app, connectivity, expansion, plus a load more. But you need to dig a little bit deeper just to really see if this soundbar is for you or not, as there are a couple of omissions that may make you want to consider before purchasing, and it's the reason for the cut price tag, but more on that later. So on to the unboxing. Within the box you get the Ray itself, a 2-meter power cable, a 1.5-meter optical cable, and then a quick start guide. Pretty standard stuff. But you'll also notice there's no remote, and I'll talk you through that later. The device itself is pretty compact, coming in at 1.95 kilograms or 4.29 pounds. It is 56 centimeters wide, 9.5 centimeters deep and 7.1 centimeters high. The shape is a sort of what I'd say a wide conical frustum. It is predominantly hard plastic with a beautiful matte black finish, but also comes in white if that's what you prefer. And as far as the black version is concerned, it's a bit of a fingerprint magnet, with me having to clean it several times through the testing. To the rear there are 3 ports and a button. The button is for the pairing when you will be adding more speakers. The next is power, then the optical input, and then finally Ethernet. I've had this soundbar connected to my Wi-Fi, which runs around about 70 up and 20 down, and I've had no issues streaming, so I haven't had yet the need to connect it to Ethernet. It also means I have one less cable to worry about when hiding it all. Also on the rear are 2 holes to use if you wish to mount it on the wall, but the mounting plate will come at a cost at an extra £39 or $. On top of the soundbar is a set of 3 touch sensitive controls. They perform various functions such as volume control, play pause, and a neat swiping motion for next and previous track when listening to music. The bottom is a simple affair with just 4 rubber feet to keep it flat and scratch free. They say that the soundbar can only be used in one orientation, and that is flat facing forward. They also advise it to be a certain distance from the TV and the wall and shelving, but to be honest, you place it where it's most authentic to you. Just try to follow their guidelines if you can. To the front of the Ray is one large speaker grille with an LED at the top which displays things like such as power, errors and Wi-Fi connection, etc. Behind the grille are 4 Class D subwoofers, 2 tweeters and 2 high efficiency mid-woofers, giving stereo sound. This can be upgraded to 5.1, but you do need to add more Sonos speakers and a sub to your setup. They do sell these as a pack on the website if you have the spare cash. So setting it up then is just a simple case of plugging in the optical cable from your TV to the soundbar. Plug in the power, as I said earlier, Ethernet if you need to. But that's pretty much it. Now to get everything set up perfectly, what you need to do is go over and just download the Sonos app. As I said before, you don't get a remote with this sub. Sonos don't do remotes, so controlling it you will need to use the app. Or use the physical buttons on the top, use voice commands when connected to your preferred choice of voice assistant, or as I do, I use my TV remote. This is all pretty easy to set up. The app can be downloaded and is very simple to use. Just follow the on-screen instructions, and it's here where you can do the sound test, which I did after a few days, but I wanted to test the sound for the video without doing any of the adjustments, just a bit of tweaking on the treble and the bass. Again, doing the test is totally optional, as you could just set to tweak the treble and bass as I did, or just toggle on the loudness. You can also set up streaming services such as Apple Music, TuneIn, Spotify and others, as well as pairing speakers if you have more than one in the room. As I said earlier in regards to getting it to maybe if you wanted a 5.1 setup. Also in the app you can connect it to your chosen voice assistant. We use, and to set that up just download the Sonos skill and link to Sonos using the app. You can also create a room in the app, so whenever you ask her to play, say, Pirate FM, she will always play it in your Sonos and not through their inbuilt speaker. So my soundbar is connected to my LG C1 65-inch TV, and on the website it says this soundbar is for TVs up to 55-inch, and of course it doesn't matter what size your TV is, it's all really about the size of the room. The main cave is a medium-sized room and the soundbar fills it plentiful, so ignore what the website says to a certain extent. The Ray is good enough to fill most average rooms, I'd say. So here it is then, here's a quick test for you, but please do remember there's all sorts of compression going on with YouTube before it gets to your ears. However, you kind of get the idea.
This is worse than I had imagined. Sand sharks from above.
I can't tell. Are we getting closer to the mountain?
We are.
Halt! Who goes there?
You're up.
Coming with us. Nice and easy.
Don't think so.
Who in the hell? Hands where I can see him.
Have fun.
Freeze! Move and we shoot.
Go ahead. Enough of this.
Great news. Roxxon's prototype labs in Manhattan are kaput. And so are their reactors.
Finally! With the labs and Krieger gone, it feels like Roxxon's butt has been firmly kicked.
I bet they'll be staying out of sight for a while.
Good. Because I don't want to train any more reactors.
So there we have it then. For me in my room, it absolutely delivers on what Sonos say on their website. The main takeaway for me from using this soundbar was the clarity. Everything is so clear. If you do want room shaking bass, you won't get that, as you need to add something like a Sonos subwoofer for that. But in no ways does this scrimp on that bass. It's decent enough. I have the bass turned up to about 6, but the overriding feature for me is crystal clear vocals. Everything could be separated when listening to it, and even though it's not 5.1, it did a pretty decent job of locating the sounds from the sides. I never really have the sound up too loud in the cave, but when I did, I tested it, I got very loud, with absolutely no distortion. Then when it was quiet, you can still make out voices crisp and clear. Combine this with the PS5's ability to augment its 3D sound to any speaker, and this thing delivers. Using it on the Switch and the Xbox is equally as impressive. So it sounds good and the price is right, but as I mentioned at the beginning, the Ray isn't without its limitations, and I'd say it's a personal decision as to whether or not you believe that they make this Ray a non-starter or not. So the most obvious reason is that the Ray doesn't have Dolby Atmos or the physical 5.1. It's all delivered towards you with some tweaking as it uses TruePlay to get immersion, which it does a pretty decent job of. This isn't necessarily a killer though for me. It's fine, I usually use my headphones to game and watch movies and don't have much need for Dolby Atmos as I mainly game on the PS5. But if you want that Atmos sound from say the Xbox, then you will need to go up a level and buy the Beam at nearly $200 or pounds more. Or as I said before, you could add more Sonos speakers and create 5.1, but then that becomes very expensive and negates the Ray's starting price. Secondly, though I'm not sure this is a negative or not, more of a potential limiting function, the Ray cannot connect via HDMI, instead uses optical. Again, for me this is perfect as I've always plugged my speakers into optical, so getting optical was perfect. But again, it's up to you, but I'd say most TVs have an optical out, so getting this soundbar wouldn't be a problem. It's just if you need to connect it via HDMI, you may need to look elsewhere. So there then, there's a reason that I went for the Ray as my new TV speaker. It fits my needs perfectly, and at that price for a Sonos product was too much for me to resist. Will you be picking one up? I hope to keep this soundbar for as many years as I've had all of my other speakers. And please do let me know down in the comments below if you are picking one up or either thinking about another soundbar. Do let me know which one you're going for. That's it then. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And until the next video, bye bye.